in and out. Let's go. On love and wellness. Ashe. Love plus art equals wellness. Our precious mother love. I'm going through it, through it. If you want to do it with me. So I don't know how everybody else is feeling, but today is a good day, and I just thought I would go ahead and go live. I don't like the reflection on which is the light from everything that's going to be on these glasses. That's me in the background. Let it flow in the Situation Room with IJ Sterling at the Situation Room Music Studios in Baltimore. Well, that's one of the locations. My tummy, I can feel it, let it flow. All right, so I'm gonna let it flow. I just want to get opportunity to let a few people in. Let's go. I know you know what to do. Let it go. Let's see if I can turn it down. If you know, like I know that you know, if you let it go, it's going to flow. I say it right. It's right here on the tip of my tongue. It's going down. Yes, it is. One Love and Wellness. It's going down. The galactic wars in the sky are being played out on a big scale. Let's see if I can get rid of this light and if it will cause me too much trouble to get rid of it. All right, here we go. So, One Love and Wellness, welcome to season 5 of Heart Happy Hour. I play my music, I say my poetry, I share my downloads, I sun gaze, so I get downloads, and that's not just why I get downloads, but it enhances the download part of it. So, it's just something that I have gotten used to, and now I've started to write down and I start to put in some format of order because things don't come in the order of what makes sense, but they are just signs and symptoms and symbols. And those are things that I just like to share with others in high hopes that it'll help them do something wonderful. So, season 5, Heart Happy Hour. Do the right thing for the right reason. Say what you mean what you say. I wanted to start with that before I get to the galactic part of it because I'm going to start with that and end with that because the foundation of it all is that we really are playing out on a big stage, and everything we do, you get points for doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason. And I believe now, with us being in what might be considered the beginning of the golden age, the Aquarian age. The Aquarian age is about IT, about futurism, about the future. It's about being ahead of their time. And so if that comes at the same time where, and it does, with we're entering into the energy of the golden age, which is doing the right thing for the right reason kind of thing, let's see, what is it? That is from Philippians. Let's see if I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, in Philippians 4:8, which is ironic, but it says, finally, brethren, or finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, praiseworthy. Think about these things and then apply it or practice it. And the peace of God will, or the peace of all understanding or overstanding or understanding, your peace will surpass whatever you could actually ever imagine. So doing the right thing for the right reasons, if one of the ways to get views or one of the ways to get bucks or one of the ways to build up is to, the crab in the barrel thing, to climb up using other people, if I likened the galactic stage to a chess game, I must also speak about kings and queens and rooks and pawns and knights. which all have certain ways that they can move, that have certain um, energies that they are contained within as far as their ability to conquer on that grand stage, on the galactic scale of things. It's as though it's playing out like a Star Wars, like we are within the throes of a game that's being played that we are a part of. People own these planets. People are buying stars, naming stars, and you know, how different is that from us putting ourselves, giving ourselves another name when we become a star? When you're in the public eye, if that name is not your given name, it is a name that you decide to take on, you take on that persona. Like, I'm totally okay with being called Precious Mother Love, because being Precious Mother Love means that, well, first off, it was a name bestowed upon me that included my attributes. I was already exhibiting the skill set for it. And so it made sense that once I claimed that name, but I have many other names that I claim, because I also take on that the reason why my fifth season, the PHI, the 5, which gives you the golden means, I believe it has some significance to the golden mean, the golden number. The significance of that is because my born name has that in it. And so I sort of resonate with, okay, fifth season, hey, let's roll. Because I got stuck on the fourth season. I really did. I mean, I only did it for a year, but my previous seasons were condensed into numerous back to back. Well, not back to back, but I had like 20 some episodes because I kept getting these downloads, and I'm still getting these downloads, but now more frequent since the solar eclipse. So since the solar eclipse to me was like a white balance or a black balance, like when you have a camera and you point it against a particular wall, depending on how white that wall is, how close you get back to the factory reset. Or the black balance, that when you're coming out of the darkness and being, and seeing at that point, which I have to bring in a couple of pawn pieces, a couple of key note players on the grand scale. So if Putin did release this, he awarded a copy of a painting that was originally awarded in 1800s to a Russian war captain, war hero, or whatever, for inspiration back then. And that happened to be a copy of what his war chief was given back then, not his, but Russian's war chief. So now, to see that it is a black Jesus. Now, he didn't come out and say it's a black Jesus, you know, but it's kind of like up to the beholder to see, to have eyes to see, to have ears to hear. Like, are you listening? Are you looking? Are you seeing? Can your paradigm take that new shift? Can you absorb that new information? Does that compute? Are you able to, download that information and now shift your thoughts? Because now you're in another mindset that, the Jedi, the black, um, well, not let's not go to that part yet, but in the big picture of the Star Wars settings, those movies were not us. The bad guys were us. The prospective bad guys were at some point, and things changed. Six movies of this. At some point there were some tweaks to who was in charge. There were even some female queens. Princess Leia. So there were a few, but not. It was out. It was more men than women in charge of things, which kind of went along with what the idea of this planet's reality is, that they have engineered that to be mostly the case. And good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just saying that the reality of this level, this galactic, this planet in the galaxy is a pawn amongst many other players on the field. As a matter of fact, speaking of planets, there's a planetary parade on 420 on the 20th of April. There are, let me see, I didn't list out how many planets, but it's a planetary parade going on. Um, and it seems like I'm sleeping. Be quiet. Shh. Get out of here. You want me? This is the main reason that we don't hear this information, because people want you to be asleep. People want you to go back into that sleep mode of operation, and that's us in zombie mode. That's us being any of us, not me per se, but that's the average person, the average civilized public people are not listening and looking at what they're showing us in the media through these big pictures. And like I said, it's a galactic, it's a big scale game that's going on that each of us is a part of, whether we know it or not. I mean, we're traveling on this planet, so we're part of whatever is going on. And so if you look at these eclipses, these cosmological plays, these playbook, it's written in the stars kind of thing. If they show us the way that, um, you know, how can I say, we're now really more talking about the cosmological effects of, how the moon affects us because we're so much water, how, if the tide is affected, these things are shaking us up, giving us waves, giving us, a certain kind of motion or energy and motion or frequency. So it's definitely a all these other planets have a play on the field. They are a part of the rook, the king, the knight, the dragon that came through, the devil's comet, the earthquakes, all these are due to the electromagnetic, the ionospheric influences, and for us to throw some rocks into, or rockets into the play of the game on the field, for us to go up with these tools per se, disrupting the energy, I don't know, maybe just being included in the game, just wanting some skin in the game, just wanting to be a part of what was the big, you know, to do, because that's not something we folks will normally pay much attention to. So on the planet, at the planetary parade 420, that's also around the day of when, that's a day or two before, or when the moon starts to go into the full moon cycle at its more noticeable pace 3 days before. So on the 20th, a lot of big things are happening. Some friends of mine, some folks I know, some twin fellas are dropping some, doing some big things on that day, having a celebration of sorts of their activities in the stars in the stratosphere. They're knocking it out the box, bringing you all kinds of news and music to go with it. But also, I feel as though, and you know what, I might have to get rid of these glasses or put some more light on the picture. I think that's what I'll do. I'll put some more light on the pictures. Pardon me for going live with this technical difficulty. My goodness, that's amazing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So it really puts a better picture on things. So I started with do the right thing for the right reason. Say what you mean what you say. I talked about the reason why you wanted to apply that golden rule, but the main reason I'm talking about applying that golden rule, I read Philippines 4 and 8. 4-8 was like the last shakeup that we had. We have another one to look forward to as far as eclipse seasons. But during that season, during that eclipse, Beetlejuice came out, and I said it a couple times in a row, the real name, the way it's pronounced, and I felt a tingling in my pineal gland. It was like it was waking me up, like I had like a squinching in like the inside part of here, but a little bit back, a little bit further. During the eclipse, I ended up getting a sinus pressure headache. I feel like the shift was like a popping of, or like if somebody was squeezing me, and as I was being squeezed and moved by, like when a mouse goes under a door or something. That was the way I felt. It was like that kind of energy. And then once it cleared, just after it cleared, I felt the most pressure. So I says, okay, well, let me go lay down. And that's what I did. I ended up doing, sleeping and feeling like, and it helped, it helped me to go back into or move into or retune or recalibrate, or, the same thing, the white balance, the black balance, whatever. I was able to fine tune things, reset it in a way that felt like I was getting more in tuned with the times. And to be very honest, talking about fine tuning or foretuning or foretelling or fortuned. Fortune is what they say when they say fortune. It's like the shades, the tones, the retones, the retunes. And the higher you go, the deeper you can go. And so the deeper you go, the deeper the depths of how deeply you understand something, that you know something, you become something, you are it that you are thinking. Which, when I say the golden rule, get up, stand up for your rights, Bob Marley comes to mind, but so does Ali. He was the stand up kind of guy, but on what is that? Some kind of Thursday show they do, the red and the blue. They were having some chatter. They were chatting up the real guys, the real men, the real fellas who stood on what they knew and stood for what, and didn't go for and didn't sacrifice what they felt were their morals, their principles, their scruples. They didn't sacrifice the things of their of the divinity. Ali in particular, he stood up and he was like, for and against war, against the fight was not, and anyway, we don't war against flesh and blood. We war against principalities and, not magic, but the energy being used in the wrong ways, against each other and in war, right? So some of those pawns that's on the playing field, if you want to go, I don't know, line for line, man for man on the field, which game they playing in and what levels that they're on, because I said multi-level space game. But, if Ali was, I think Ali was a player on the field. I think Bob Marley was a player on the field. I think OJ was a player on the field come lately. The juice. It's like he gave us some juice. But Tupac, his juice, that's the kind of juice that I was ready to drink. But Prince was a pawn. He was one of the pawns that was used in the place of, on the grand scale, on the galactic level, there was due to be some um, movements on the playing field, and so they threw in a replacement. The movie Replacements. They threw in replacements, and the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. I think she was a pawn on the field. Why do you think so many dignitaries went to that event? And on such a level where it was, I won't say galactic, but yeah, galactic level fame. That to me was something like shot into the black woman energy, the black strong woman energy, even though she had some softness, I'm seeing something, some energy, I'm catching glimpses of stuff out the corner of my eye. Sorry, but that's on the galactic war level playing field. But I feel like the veil is lifting, so that those lines are no longer as blurred as they were. Like we can see the signs and the symptoms of the sacrificial whatevers, and maybe even draw straight lines and connect the dots. You know, um, like for instance, the movie The Wizard of Oz. When you start, we're peeking behind the veil, so now we're able to see, who's at the controls, who actually is controlling the views, the likes, the vision, the tail live vision, the media, the words that mean 10 different things, 20 different things. The energy of our communication is very, very not muted, mutable. Isn't that interesting? Mutable. Don't mute this DC. That was one of the campaigns as far as go-go, which again has a lot of that percussion in it. To me, has that vibranium from the ground, which to me, when it connects back to when Genghis had, when the band that our go-go band went to, I think it is Genghis, but I forget the name of the band. Is it Junkyard or Backyard? I think it's Backyard. But anyway, they actually went and were on stage with these soulful women who were dancing to our music like it was their music. And it was really, a marriage made in heaven. At that point, I cried. I was like, oh my God, my roots are that deep. So, but looking at the Star Wars level stuff, let me say, okay, so George Clinton, I talk about a lot of his lyrics in that, because he comes down in the spaceship and they have, and my picture is very close. So he comes down on a spaceship, wearing diapers, with these, like in the Wizard of Oz, they had the flying monkeys, to some degree, for whatever reason, I kind of, that is a direct line to me of him saying, quit monkeying around and get with the galactic mindset, which is, you can fly. Well, I'm just saying, he said it, I believe I can fly, but not like in that sense. I mean, like when you slough off the body, when you get rid now, I was talking more about the veil, but sleep paralysis. Go to that right quick and I'll come back to the flying monkeys, the George Clinton lyrics. But sleep paralysis is when you think that witch is on you. That's what I was told, that the witch is holding you down when you're on the bed and you're awake, you're aware, your eyes may even be open, but you, or a lot of times not even open yet, but you're feeling like you're being depressed, like you're being pressured down. That's actually because your meat suit hasn't been activated yet. It resonated with me when a few people recently, and I watched someone earlier that was speaking about that they had actually gone into astral travel. They had gone outside their body. They were at the point where they were feeling the difference. They were able to see the blur of the difference between the two. That one was like a more fuzzy, like a lucid dream kind of, but that they could actually see that their body was still in the same position kind of thing. They were able to see in the same room kind of thing. So I believe that when you're asleep, and this is me recently feeling this way, connecting in this way, because once I connected in the way that my spirit, my soul went outside of this physical vessel, this vehicle, it made more sense to think of it that that's why it's connected, because you actually can go into these states where you are like you sleep, like when you go into a daydream, like when you go into a lucid dream. That's your body being in sleep mode, so you're disconnected from the physical functions until you snap back into it, until you arouse yourself. Sometimes it takes longer to put yourself back into position of being in control of the vessel. So that's my thought, that you take it off of automatic and you're putting it, the autonomic, you're putting that to sleep when you sleep. You're putting that into co-pilot or pilot position. What do you call that when you're in cruise control? You're in cruise control. So One Love and Wellness, I'm almost done. I mentioned about Beetlejuice coming, and that we're in the Sky Dome. We're in the King's Dominion. That's another wonderful place that shows you kind of like, what's the fantastical, galactic kind of, bit by bit, piece by piece, they built it into somewhat mimicking, you know, what a King's Dominion would be. But anyway, the Space Dominion is where we're playing now. We're playing space games. We're in Space Wars. We're in the game. We got some skin in the game in the Star Wars. And now that we're paying more attention to these cosmological events, I feel as though we're now being more ourselves, more acceptable in being our unique positions. We're listening, we're able, like we're on a certain team. We're supposed to be part of a certain Some people are the cheerleaders, some people are the water boys, some people are the fuel, what do you call that, the ship that goes up and it fuels you while it's in the sky. Some of us are that. No, I didn't. That's the first time that came out of my mouth. But we're in the game some kind of way. We got parts and positions on the field on the lower level, and I think, and some of that might be through our blood. I think some, because only certain people are allowed to be president. That sounds like something that's part of the game. Only certain people are allowed to work in the White House. Only certain people are allowed to be on a certain space projects. Only certain people are allowed to be. Not only do you test through it, I believe they go through, the whole process based on they know there is a way of knowing of our DNA, of our lineage, of our history. I mean, I don't believe in some of that stuff that we see on, the commercial way of doing your genealogy. Sometimes that's not as clear as what your family actually knows about your history. Sometimes you do have to add in some other stuff. Sometimes it does fill in the blank, but I think it blurs the big picture. I think it does not tell the whole truth of what your lineage is. I think it's to help to lean in some ways of the ways that they would prefer us to consider certain things. Like you're not from here, like you're from you have a certain percentage of some other cultures that they want those numbers to look bigger. They want those numbers to look smaller. They want those numbers to be what they want it to be. And so they put it out in that way. But speaking of numbers, zeros and ones, last little tidbit before I go. So, zero in tennis is love. And if love is God or God is love, then it's like zeroing out the balance. It's like no resistance to letting the love flow. Or let me see. I had it's balancing it to zero, totaling out, surrendering in total. So giving up all the things that are not of God. So in Philippians 4:8, it says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, praiseworthy, think about it, put it into practice if you saw me do it. Practice being in the mindset of agape love, of being love, of being the zero in the picture. Get leave that zero and get with this hero. It's kind of one and the same at that point. But it says you'll have the peace that surpasses all understanding, overstanding, innerstanding, outerstanding, not the things of without you, the things that include you, the innerstanding. Stand up, stand out, and stand on. Do the right thing for the right reason. Say what you mean what you say. That's the golden rule to me. And do the right thing for the right reason. One love and wellness, precious mother love. Hey, Transformer Club. Hey, bigger, 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 saying hi, hi, hi. Hey, Olivia Bergman. I hope you woke up and got your nap. And Tarzan is a CB. Cool shades. Oh, yeah. Let me put my shades back on so I can see myself. One love and wellness. Ashe family. Love plus art equals wellness. Heart Happy Hour, Season 5. Back to the golden rules. That's going to be my motto for Season 5. Back to the golden rules, folks. We are now knowing ourselves. So go past that seventh chakra. Go into that, past that crown chakra. Go into knowing and being. Be, I am, I be. I is, I are. Is you is or is you ain't my baby. It's alright, it's alright. If you want it, you can do it. If you got it, got to prove it. If you want it, got to do it. Just let it go. Let it flow, family. Ashe. One love and wellness in the best way you know how. I did it in the best way I know how. I hope I got what you needed up in there. Something that sparked something in your mouth, in your mind. Came from my thoughts, my lips, my tips to your ears. Hopefully you got a life hack out of that. Connect the dots on the galactic picture. Let's go, guys. Let's go. I know you know what to do, just do it. Let it go, let it flow. do, 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 do.